Is it amazing, or are all of my friends neurodivergent in the exact same way that I am? This is We Have Concerns. Hi, Jeff Canada.
Hi, Anthony Carboni.
Hello, concerned citizens. You know, if you concerned citizens are supporting us at the cold open level, cracking open a cold one, you just heard Jeff tell a story about moving, which, you know, we've alluded to it. The moving is coming.
The moving.
And you were worried about your kids moving with little kids. Are they going to miss their friends? Are they going to feel lonely? Like, what's going to happen?
Luckily, they don't have kids and they're already lonely. So, two less things to worry about right there.
It's a great thing about having toddler-age children when the last 18 months has been quarantine.
Their life already sucks. I can't make it worse.
Can't make it worse. Let's go. We're moving. Well, there was an interesting story. That I found in the Washington Post, based on a study that was released in the Journal of Adolescence this week.
I can't wait till that journal just grows the fuck up.
Oh my God. That journal is always copying attitude with me, and I just want the best for the journal. It's like I can do nothing right for that journal.
And you know what? You know what really annoys me is when that journal like stomps down the hall and slams the door.
Ugh.
And I'm like, I just want to read the journal.
And the journal puts on a song that's like clearly about me.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And it's like,
and yells, you're not my dad. you're not as clever as you think you are, and you're not as unique. And we've all been there, journal. And I don't know how to tell that to you. Yeah.
But one day you're going to wake up and you're going to realize that I was in your corner the whole time. And I was maybe your biggest ally. You know?
Yeah, I think, every journal goes through it. And I just have to understand that.
Yeah.
But I hope this journal at some point comes out the other side a better journal. You know?
I remember when I was a young journal. So rarely peer reviewed. But this is a story about, obviously, since it's the Journal of Adolescence, it's about teens, baby.
Yeah. What are they up to? What are they into? What are they like? How can I be more like them?
Hey, first of all, shout out to all 3 teens that listen to this show.
You are awesome, and maybe you should tell your friends about us.
Like, 3, like, I can't believe even 3 of you know who we are.
Well, you're probably trapped in the car with your parents.
Yeah. Would it help? Hey, teens, would it help if you told your friends that I own a penny board? Are those not cool anymore?
I don't even know what that is.
It's like the little skateboard that I use.
Yeah, penny board. Okay, yeah. I was thinking some sort of. Yeah. Okay.
I don't own a regular board anymore because I can't do tricks because, hey, teens, it'll hurt me.
My body is brittle now.
Hey, teens, I have bad joints. Listen, there's a very interesting thing. It's a confluence of things that we enjoy talking about here on the show, and I thought you'd find it interesting. Jeff, what if I told you that teens around the world are measurably lonelier than they were a decade ago?
Really? Measurably lonelier than a decade? I mean, is this sort of a...
Worldwide.
I feel like the COVID could be a factor here. Is this like are we able to remove the last year and a half from this data?
I will tell you that the numbers go from 2008 to 2018 with a particularly measurable drop in feelings of connectedness.
Well, this is going to be one of those things
between 2012 and 2018.
Interesting. I feel like this is going to be one of those things that the olds point to and say, see, the technology is ruining the youth. Because we all sit at home on our devices and we're texting and we're Snapchatting and we're Instagramming, that we are becoming less connected and actually more lonely, ironically, because these things that connect us virtually are actually stunting our interpersonal relations and harming our actual mental health.
Give the boy a prize. Yes, exactly. Yes, exactly. You might be interested to know, Jeff, that the year 2012 was the tipping point at which 50% of teenagers in America had access to smart devices. It was also the launch of many social media platforms. And, you know, we talk a lot about how the olds need to shut up. And this is coming from olds.
Yeah, we tell ourselves to shut up constantly.
I mean, I own a penny board, but like, I'm still pretty good, you know what I mean? So I'm still like pretty good. But
but you need to shut up.
There are things. But, you know, we talk about things like attention span and books versus ebooks and, you know, what's getting better, what's getting worse. And I often say, shut up.
Yeah.
You know, people didn't like it when someone invented clocks. People didn't like it when reading was invented. They said it was going to be the end of memory.
Can I tell you what I still hate? Clocks.
Clocks.
You know?
Yeah.
Fuck clocks.
Fuck
Don't tell me what time it is.
I'll
know
tell
what I'm saying?
I've got an impeccable internal sense of time.
You know what ruins
That's why I was
most of
only 8 minutes late to the recording session today.
But you knew exactly.
I felt that I was late. Don't think I didn't feel that I was late. I did, and that's why I was only 8 minutes late.
You know what ruins most of my sleeping? Clocks.
Yeah. So, you know, we talk about this a lot where sometimes it's just fear of the new.
Yeah.
But we do also say, because we contain multitudes and things are not as simple as they seem, social media is garbage. It's garbage.
It truly, truly is. And I don't know. It feels like we are past the event horizon on that shit. Mm-hmm. You know, it doesn't seem like there's any turning back from it. I don't know if it's salvageable, but it does seem like this loneliness thing is a symptom of that, and one that's only going to get worse. Well,
the study doesn't know about whether it's going to get worse, but the study does seem to agree with your thesis. This was data that was used from the Program for International Student Assessment. Now, this is a survey of over 1 million 15 and 16-year-old students around the world. And this is over multiple years.
Can you imagine being around a million 15 and 16-year-olds from around the world? It sounds like a nightmare place.
I don't even like it when I'm with two of them in the elevator. But teens, tell your friends.
Tell your friends about the show. We love you.
About the show. We love you, teens. The survey included a 6-item measure of loneliness at school in the years. These were done at different years, 2000, 2003, 2012, 2015, and 2018. Now, before 2012, the measures of loneliness stayed pretty flat over the first 3 times.
Tell me what these measures of loneliness are. Is it self-identifying? You know, kids self-reporting their mood.
Yeah, it's sort of their mood. It's how many friends they think they have. You know, how many real friends they think they have.
Right.
You know, how often they feel lonely.
You asked me in the 90s. I'm whatever your metric is, I'm right at the top of it for loneliness.
Sure. I mean, they're always going to be dorks.
Yeah, that was me.
Yeah, dorks always exist. Listen, hey, dorks. It's fine. It's okay. It's not, though. You know.
It didn't feel okay.
It's not lonely. But let me tell you, I'm going to say this in the most condescending way. Your perception of time and importance is incredibly warped and skewed right now.
That's true for teens. Yes.
Yeah. And what I'm going to tell you is life is infinitely long with a billion more challenges than you could ever imagine. Yeah. And high school is but a blip.
It's going to get both better and worse for you.
Oh, immeasurably.
Yeah. It's way better and also way worse.
Oh, immeasurably. But after 2012, loneliness just skyrocketed. Nearly twice as many teens displayed high elevated levels of school loneliness, which is an established predictor of depression and mental health issues. School loneliness is like, I mean, look, for some kids, perhaps two of them are on this podcast. certain years of school felt a bit like solitary confinement.
Right.
And we know how unhealthy solitary confinement is. We know how unhealthy it is to put yourself into into a hurtful environment willingly every day, right? So school loneliness, when a kid says, like, I don't have any friends, I don't feel like there's anyone I can talk to, I don't feel connected to anybody at school. Well, when you're a kid, school's your whole life.
Right.
You don't have a ton more going on outside of school. You have precious few activities. Even if you do, outside activities, most of them are connected to the school in some way.
Yeah.
And so
that, to me, honestly, like the best thing that happened to me in school was that I went and did an exchange student program in Japan.
Yeah.
And in high school. And it was this revelation that the world wasn't just my stupid hometown.
Yeah.
And it was tough. Like, oh, there's a big world out there with a whole lot of other kinds of people. But
and it's weird because you can say that, but like there's that thing I always come back to, which is like that Buddhist idea of filters, the unknown unknowns. You can't possibly fathom something that you don't know, that you have no experience with.
Yeah.
And so when you tell a kid, oh no, this is just one school, these are just bad, this is just a couple years of your life. Kids are like, this is all I've known.
Yeah.
Fuck you.
Not everybody uses penny boards, for example. And then the kids would be like, that just doesn't make any sense to me.
That doesn't make any sense. That's ridiculous. I vape too, kids. No, I don't vape. I don't even want to say that to sound cool to kids.
That's so lame.
Not even to sound cool to kids do I want to say that I vape. So this is school loneliness has become twice as high in these kids over the last year. And the thing that's interesting is they were like, well, before we jump to any conclusions, we've got to pull out all of the different factors here. We've got to separate the data, see what's going on. Are there economic factors at play? Are there cultural factors at play, right? Because this is worldwide.
Right.
So
it crosses a lot of cultural and economic things. So it seems like it sort of negates some of those factors off the top, right?
And it all kind of evens out. But like if one country is particularly more like, if somebody's bringing down the curve on loneliness, whether it's
Lonelitania, the country of Lonelitania,
which like, look, they've been trying their best, but there's something wrong with the ad campaign of please just come to Lonelitania.
Please.
And then like I bought snacks, and like if you don't like the snacks I bought, like we can go get other snacks. Like I just want you to have fun. Like it's really important to me that you guys come to Lonelitania.
I feel like Lonelitania is just sort of...
First of all, it's hard to read on a billboard when you're driving by.
It is. It doesn't pop. It does not pop off the billboard. But I feel like their laws really don't help them. That whole rule about not having a house within 1,500 miles of another house. It just feels like it's self-defeating.
Well, and it's also keeping down that economic growth, which Lonelitania really needs.
Yeah.
But yeah, so no, they wanted to make sure there were no Lonelitanias going on. They wanted to make sure there was no, hey, are people that are just economically disadvantaged around the world more lonely? They wanted to make sure of all this stuff. And when they pulled it out, they were like, man, we're looking at it. And it do seem to be the smartphones and the social media.
So what do you draw from this? Do you think a legitimate conclusion to come to is that we as a species need in-person physical interaction in order to maintain our sanity? Or do you think that we, in this time period, this weird transition point, we just hadn't figured it out yet, and that we will sort of evolve to not feeling so lonely because our interactions will just morph into this new modality?
Yeah, I tend to lean towards the later myself, and the researchers, don't want to make predictions, but they do kind of lay out some data that I think kind of fits with that as well. So first of all, they say that one of the tough things about social media is it can create an exclusionary environment that increases school loneliness, right? Because this is about school loneliness. So one of the things that this is about is like, social media is very much about voting and interaction. I like this thing that you did. Right. I don't like this thing that you did. I'm positively commenting. I'm not positively commenting. It's, I mean, to me, as somebody who kind of came up in acting and hosting, it really does feel more like being a teenager always felt like constantly auditioning for other teenagers. Yeah. But now it's really, not only are you auditioning for other teenagers, you're getting feedback. It's like, wow, yeah, that's so true. You're having this metric that is very ever present. And it's a competition show. Kids are on a competition show, and that can lead to, like, if you post something on social media that people don't like or people find embarrassing or people can make fun of you for, when you get to school, you're going to hear about it, or people are not going to interact with you. And one of the things that they said that really made them think that social media and this sort of competition is at the sort of root of it, is that it especially creates increased school loneliness for girls who are the most competitive on social media. Mm-hmm. And so that's where they're like, oh, okay, that's really what it's about. It's not so much about the smartphones themselves as it is about this specific sort of like hierarchical interaction. Right. So knowing where you sit in the stratosphere, in the stratification of the of the social structure. So are you the popular girl? Are you not the popular girl? Are you liked? Are you disliked? It's like the very good Netflix television series The Circle, but without the good-naturedness. So yeah, it can result in cyberbullying. And one thing that's interesting is, like, I know so many people who are like, well, I'm not going to let my kid use as much social media as other kids. Oh no, we're talking about school loneliness. And here's where the real problem is. If you're not on social media and every other kid is. Oh, even more lonely. You're more isolated. You're more ostracized, right? Even if you're not ostracized, you're just missing out on things. It's that same feeling that that you've talked about having when you don't check Twitter for the news multiple times a day. Yeah. What am I missing right now? What don't I know? Thing that happened. Everybody was talking about it. I'm worried that something happened that was important that I need to know about. There was a bear on the highway, and for 14 minutes, everyone in the world was looking at that bear. And when I tuned in an hour later, no one gives a shit about the bear anymore. But I missed the bear moment. A bear on a highway wouldn't even be a blip anymore, baby. I guess that's true. You think a bear on a highway is going to do it anymore? Hell nah. But hell nah. We got kids killing other kids with fucking construction equipment on YouTube. That bear refused to get vaccinated, Anthony. So it became a political story. And then it shot right to the top. So yeah, it's kind of interesting. You know, I think about this. I am on Facebook, but I'm not on Facebook. Do you know what I mean? I haven't deleted my Facebook account because there's no point. They just keep all the data on you anyway, and you need Facebook to log into a couple different things, particularly my fucking Oculus. Yeah. So I have a Facebook, but I don't use it. And what's interesting is, like, I will find out about, particularly the one thing that Facebook has, the only thing that I think Facebook has over any other social media right now today, is that's where you find out about birthday parties. And I'll tell you what else you find out about. And this is pointing to my old status. Just the other day, I logged on to Facebook. I never go on Facebook. Because I'm moving, I wanted to reconnect with somebody that I think is in the area I'm moving to. Mm-hmm. I got on Facebook to try to find him. Found out a friend of mine from high school passed away. Yes. The only way I would have found out, Facebook. If you want to know if somebody from high school is dead or having a birthday, Facebook is the only way to know. Yeah. Other than that, there's no reason for Facebook. But that's a big internet. Like, if I miss somebody's birthday because I didn't get the invite on Facebook, I'm like, oh fuck, man. I wanted to see those people. You know what I mean?
Right.
Or somebody comes in.
Dude, I missed out on a number of things that were organized entirely through Facebook. There was literally no attempt to rope in anyone who was not on Facebook. It was a Facebook organized, Facebook communicated, and so many people were just cool with that. And I found out about it months afterwards. It was this big reunion that happened for the movie theater that I grew up working at.
Oh, wow.
I know. They were closing down the movie theater and they had this big reunion. It was like the last time, all the people who ever worked there. It was a huge part of my life in high school. And we had it was all these people that I would have loved to have seen. They gave away memorabilia, showed a movie one last time in the theater. And it was like this huge thing. All happened on Facebook. I missed it entirely. Found out about it months later.
You really did come from kind of a small town, didn't you?
Yeah, dude. I mean, my high school class was 850, so it's not super small, but
my high school had like 2,600 kids in it. And the movie theater that I worked at was like a general cinema. Like there's no reunion when the general cinema closes down.
Well, it was like a tight knit group. This movie theater that opened up, we were like the first kids that got hired there, and then it was a thing. It was a thing. Fucking Facebook.
Wow. Yeah. I mean, and so that's the thing is like, and if you're a teenager, so much more stuff is happening and being organized through there. Kids talk mostly kids are talking mostly over apps. And then there's the other thing is like, they do talk about something that they call fubbing, which is a word that I had not heard before. Ooh. But it's now a word that I'm going to use all the time.
Fubbing.
Fubbing is when you look at your phone during a social interaction with somebody. You and I are sitting at the table and I pick up my phone and look at it for a few seconds and neither of us says anything about it and neither of us finds it inappropriate, but it does actually, they've found, dampen the sense of connection between people.
Oh yeah, I'm sure. I'm sure. It's almost like in the olden days, you'd have a conversation with somebody and you'd see their eyes look over and see who just walked in the room. And you're like, well, I thought I was talking to you. You're seeing who else might be better to talk to. It's the 21st century version of that.
I'm so bad about that still. I'm so bad because of my ADD. If there's motion in the corner, I'm just like squirrel.
Yeah. And then what if a squirrel came in? You want to have a conversation with that squirrel?
If I'm sitting in a restaurant and a fucking squirrel gets in, I definitely want to notice that because I'm going to put it on TikTok and we're going to take that fucking highway bear down. If I can get that squirrel to just sit at a table and like look like it's reaching for like a brunch cocktail, even if it's not,
it's got to wear a mask.
I mean, sure. If I could get the squirrel in a mask, that's tougher.
It's tougher, but worth it.
And also legally, if the squirrel is eating or drinking, it can take its mask off inside. So as long as the squirrel looks like it's reaching intentionally towards that mimosa, that's something.
It is.
That's something.
I do feel, though, that there is something in our biology, and perhaps it's just momentum, right? It's just the fact that human beings have interacted with each other in physical space for most of our existence as human beings.
Yeah.
And maybe that will evolve out of us. Maybe the desire for that, the need for that, the sense of connection that we get from that can be supplanted digitally. But I think in the interim, in this weird transition phase that we're going through, it is something that we need. It is something that really we need to reinforce. And, I certainly feel it in the last year and a half where we're just, on Zoom meetings with everybody and you're not in the physical place with everybody. And
I'm so much more of a hugger now.
Yeah.
Oh, man. I've been hugging everybody. I mean, now that I know 3 people who are vaccinated that got the Delta variant, I'm not hugging as much. But there was a lot of hugging when the doors opened. I was like, I don't know if me and this person are hugging friends, but we fucking are now. Yeah. I'm hugging friends with everybody.
It was nice that 15 minutes when we thought we were at the end of it.
God, that was nice. Beautiful. Could you guess, Jeffrey, what the 3 countries, if you had to name 3 countries that were the most Lonelitania, Could you name them?
I mean, I'm going to put the United States in there.
USA, number one, baby.
USA. China?
No.
No? How about Great Britain?
Yes. The United Kingdom as a whole, yes.
And I'm going to say, the United Kingdom as a whole. Okay. And then I'm going to say, Germany?
Canada.
Wow. It's the most like US-y places.
It's the most US-y, techy, and it's the places that speak the language natively that most of these social networks were created for.
Right. Yeah.
Right. The big three social networks came out of the States.
Right.
And so they were English first. The highest.
It makes me sad that Canada is sad.
Yeah, I want Canada to be happy.
Yeah.
I wanted to be eating Timbits and watching sketch comedy. You know what I mean?
Come on, Canada.
That's all I want for them.
You deserve to be happy. You deserve to be happy, Canada.
Now, they said that the largest increases occurred in Slavic, Baltic, which shout out to my Slavic and Baltics out there, my genetic brethren, English-speaking and Latin American countries. The smallest increases were in East Asian countries. The only country that did not show an uptick in adolescent loneliness during that 2012 to 2018 period was South Korea. Do you want to know why they think? Can you guess?
No, I have no idea.
South Korea hit smart device saturation years before the rest of the world.
Oh, interesting. They're just ahead of the curve. They were lonely before lonely was cool.
They were lonelier before we were lonely.
Yeah. They're like, yeah.
They were riding penny boards before any of us thought to cut a skateboard in half. Do you know what I mean?
Totally, man. Yeah.
Isn't that fascinating?
Oh, you're lonely now? I was lonely in 1996. I got Lonely's first album.
It's really just a subgroup of kids. 1 in 5, maybe 2 of 5. That's what they're saying. But
that's all it is. 2 of 5 kids is lonely.
2 of 5. Yeah.
I would have guessed way higher. I would have guessed 4 out of 5.
Yeah, right. But I mean, at least it's not the majority. You know what I mean?
I'm surprised, and I think there's a bit of hope in that.
Yeah, the school administrators and teachers have noted the changes. They say lunchrooms and hallways have in recent years gotten more silent and quiet.
Oh, at least the teachers are happier.
Yeah, they're a little more well behaved because they can only use their smartphones at lunch. France stopped allowing smartphones at school.
Yeah,
for anybody below high school age.
You know what? Let me just say something. Fucking love the French. You know, the French will lock that shit down. You know?
Yeah.
They're like, we don't let anybody change our language. Nope, no changes. We're going to like force vaccinations on people. Do it. If you want to be in France, there's a certain rule set that you got to adopt. Fuck you if you're not, you know?
I'd love it if they were a little less anti-Semitic. But other than that,
I mean, it can't be. Nobody's perfect.
And also, this was years ago. But when I went to France for the first time, when I went to Paris, I think I told you about this. Years of studying French and like loving French comics and animation and stuff. And I was like, I'm going to Paris.
Yeah.
I'm going to France. And I was vegetarian at the time. You can't be vegetarian in France. There was one vegetarian restaurant, and it was closed for the season. And they had a note on their door that said, please don't deface our restaurant. Don't vandalize our restaurant when we're closed. Vegetarianism and veganism is not a political thing. We are not political dissidents. We just don't eat animals because it's connected there. Like people don't trust vegetarians. I was like, this is fucking strange to me. But at the same time, yeah, good cartoons, good comics.
They lock that shit down. You're not messing around,
bread.
You know? They're like, they call a meeting and they're like, we're not doing it. We've decided. And everybody it just falls in line. I love it.
It's weird. It's weird the way you're describing that. It feels icky to me. I don't know why.
I mean, it's
very authoritarian.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, but like, you know, they got their shit together is what I'm saying. It's they keep their shit tight. You know what I'm saying? They're like,
I gotcha.
And they're small enough that I don't feel like they're a problem.
And at the end of the day, what's France gonna do? Like that's such that's literally the most American attitude.
Yeah, it really is. It's so dismissive and stupid. But I've always appreciated, like, you know, English is this living language, and if people fuck something up long enough, it just becomes like, well, we add it to the dictionary because I guess that means that now. And I've always liked how France was like, no, the French is no, you don't get to change it. And that's
but do you know what, that backfires on languages because then they end up using borrowed words.
Yeah.
And then you'll be speaking this other language and you have to say smartphone in English. And so by refusing to allow your language to grow, you actually convert your language even more into another language. That's all.
Yeah, I guess you're right. I still dig it.
Language needs to grow. You're just mad about the Oxford comma still, and it's been like a fucking decade.
Dude, I'm mad about so many things, Anthony. So many things when it comes to language.
I think the crux of this is, and I think we're all starting to learn it a little bit. Hopefully we learn it quicker, is that like we've got to change and reform and sort of clean up the way we interact online with each other. And you see a lot of social networks trying to get rid of things like likes and trying to get rid of sort of metrics, which is tough because they make their money on metrics.
But I think prioritizing in-person interaction is not a bad plan either. I think
as soon as it's safe to do so again.
As soon as it's safe to do so. Yeah, we're in this fucked up situation where you can't even say that without a caveat. You know, it's like, yeah, of course we're getting each other sick. Ugh.
We just
vaccinated, people. Come on.
I guess this story, just like every story we cover for probably the next 5 years, is just the moral of it is get vaccinated.
Let me tell you about our next story, Anthony. And let me start with a question, which is this. Have you ever worked at a place that had an open floor plan?
Yes. It fucking sucks. It's such fucking bullshit Y2K fucking neo-lib corpo fucking bullshit. We're all equal and look, we're all accessible and I'm no better than you and you're no better than me and it's for collaboration. We can just collaborate and at the drop of a hat, collaboration could start and you never know when collaboration could strike. Never. Give me a door, give me a wall. You have work that you need me to accomplish within an 8-hour period. Please let me do the work. Please. I have attention deficit disorder. I can't have everyone coming up to me with just a quick thing. I can't.
I worked at a place that will remain nameless, but that not only had an open floor plan.
Mine was Revision 3.
Not only had an open floor plan, but required, it was part of the corporate policy that you could not sit in the same place 2 days in a row.
Oh,
you had to change your physical location. And there was no assigned seating. You were not allowed to claim a seat.
This was a recent one, wasn't it? I know which one this was.
You know what it was.
Yeah.
It was. There was a lot of pushback against it. They remained steadfast. It was. I just want
to know that my charger's plugged in.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? I want to come in.
I don't want to have
plug
to
into my charger.
I don't want to have to reset the height of the chair and the armrest every morning because I'm in a new thing.
It's not like there are different people every day.
It is. You are so right that it is wrongheaded. It is misplaced priorities. Because
I'm going to come in every morning to that place that makes you change your chair every 2 days with a big, like one of those boxes they give you when you're fired, one of those filing boxes with all of my fucking tchotchkes. And anytime I have to move,
just takes you 4 hours to move everything.
It takes me 4 hours to set up. I'm putting all my little toys out. I'm putting my photos up. I'm painstakingly recreating all the Post-it notes on my monitor. I'm doing it all. I'm putting shit on the wall. I'm putting shit on the wall directly behind my computer. If you're going to give me 48 hours, I'm going to turn that into my chair for 48 hours. And then at the end of day 2, 4 hours to tear it all down. And I will do that until you talk to me. You're going to have to speak to me about it.
You're going to have to call me into your place of open
wherever
air.
you may be that day. I don't know where to meet you. I don't even know where my boss sits. I wish I could. And you'd think I could see him because of the open floor plan, but it's just heads down everywhere. I don't know. If only there was some sort of desk toy or photo that I could use to identify his desk.
Yeah. Yeah. Or her desk.
Or her desk.
The truth is, evidently, that 70% of office employees pre-COVID worked in open plan offices. 70%. It has taken over the working world.
Because it's cheaper. They can talk about all the garbage bullshit they want to about why it's better, but at the end of the day, it's just cheaper. They don't even want to buy cubicle dividers anymore.
It's true. Just one big ass desk and some chairs, and then bring your own laptop.
Table.
Yeah.
You buy a big ass card table, and it's like, congratulations, we're a startup. We're plucky.
Bring your own laptop and your own charging cables. We did a story a while back about how I think it was your story, in fact, about how any kind of interruption is wildly disruptive to productivity. Any kind of moment where it's like, hey, I need to ask you a quick question. Hey, can I just, any of that? It's a huge setback to productivity. It takes minutes upon minutes for you to realign and get back to your workflow.
I got to get back into that flow state, Gerald.
But I just needed you to sign off on this one quick thing.
It's just a thing. You put the paper in my tray, or you send me an email.
Yeah. It's just that,
Gerald.
It's that Harmony wants to set up some plants and tchotchkes around her workspace, and I just needed you to sign off on it real quick.
I can't, Gerald, because I'm trying to set up the tchotchkes around my workspace, and I only have 2 days at this workspace, Gerald.
I know, and then you got to move to a new workspace.
And then I got to move, and I'm telling you, in my head, I had just figured out where the Funko Pops were going to go. And now I've lost it, Gerald. I've lost it. I've got to start all over again. I got to pull it all back into the file box and start all over again.
Well, that seems disruptive. I do appreciate. I am impressed by the hanging, all of the hanging that you've done. It's
I'm recreating the Battle of Hoth, Gerald.
for your workspace.
Yeah, the ship's got to fly, Gerald.
No, I understand. Harmony has created what looks like Endor with the plants.
First of all, Gerald, it's not Endor, it's the forest moon of Endor. Okay, so if you're going to interrupt me, at least know what you're talking about.
Okay, well.
And second of all, I can't believe she bit my style and she wants me to sign off on it. That is fucked up. That is fucked up.
This story, which was sent to us or posted on the old Discord by, who was it? It was a new name that I hadn't seen before. It was, wait for it, PRD. PRD. Party? Maybe it's Party.
Maybe it's Purdy. Or Purdy.
Oh, it could be Purdy. PRD posted this story that is actually from the World Economic Forum. And this is about a new study that's a little bit different than the one we talked about being interrupted.
Just a little bit twisted.
Yeah. This is also a full-on takedown of dumbass open plan office space.
Fuck yeah.
This is a much more scientific study. In fact, the researchers here note that almost all of the scientific data about open floor plan is basically anecdotal, or not anecdotal so much as examining self-reporting situations where people are in a situation, comparing it to people in different situations. So not without value, not without merit, but there has not been, up to this point, a real scientific study that is trying to eliminate variables, create a artificial set of parameters that can be A/B tested.
Yeah. Nobody's done real shit.
Real shit.
It's just a bunch of surveys that have come back.
Yeah, experimental research. And so this is the first actual experimental study with controlled conditions and monitors on heart rate, skin conductivity, AI facial and motion recognition. That hard science, baby.
Just knowing that was going on would make me the least productive and most creeped out person in the world.
Well, it's interesting, too, that they didn't focus on productivity because they say that people in open offices can be productive, but this actually focused on physical and mental health. And it turns out open floor plans fuck you up. What they did was they created a artificial noise beds that were made up of stuff that you'd hear in an office, moving of paper, phones ringing potentially, inaudible conversations, so you can't make out individual words, but just sort of the peas and carrots kind of stuff.
Yeah,
the murmur of conversations happening just outside of your hearing. All of that sort of bed of an artificial office, and they played it for folks and asked them to try to just do a normal bit of work.
Just try to do anything. Fucking try to do anything.
Exactly.
Please, we dare you. We dare you to get anything done.
Yeah.
Ever.
So they were asked to just kind of proofread, simple thing, proofread a document. Okay.
Okay.
Did it under 2 noise conditions, and they varied the order of the sound test to avoid bias and avoid fatigue. So it wasn't like they always did the easy, the quiet version first and the sound bed second. They changed it up, and they stuck to experimental design where you would try to eliminate as many variables as possible. And then they use these sensors to track heart rate, sweat response, which they say are both reliable indicators of physiological stress.
Okay.
What they found was that people in this open floor plan simulated soundscape. So this isn't even people walking by. There's no visual stimulation. It's just the auditory simulation of noise in that kind of environment.
Okay.
It increased negative mood by 25% and increased human sweat response by 34%. So people were like stressed out, unhappy, it didn't even touch productivity. It's just not enjoying going to work because of the shit that's happening around them as they are struggling to focus on a very simple task.
Wow. Yeah. I mean, I buy it. Right? It. I absolutely buy it.
I feel like anecdotally, I relate to this a lot. Just that, even when it isn't someone coming up to you and saying something specific, even when it isn't words that you overhear of someone's specific conversation of like, oh, did you hear what Janet and Harry did over the weekend? Oh yeah, they went to Cancun.
Yeah,
it's just. Oh, I'm curious about Cancun. It's not even that. It's just the fact that there are people that are having conversations at all. You're not listening in on the conversation. You're not distracted by the conversation. Just the knowledge that people around you are doing other shit. Fucks you up. Increases negative mood, makes people sweat and stress out.
Ugh. I feel it. I feel this, Jeff. This is absolutely true and real.
And it took only 8 minutes for these effects to happen. It's just a short exposure found a causal relationship between open plan office noise and stress and negative mood.
I knew it. I knew it. I knew it. I've like, I literally, I will put my phone across the room if I'm working on something over here on my computer.
Yeah.
Because if the phone lights up or I hear a ding and I'm in the middle of something, and admittedly, I'm sort of setting myself up for this because like I've got it into my head how disruptive these things are to me. And I know part of that is just like now I have to let go of that. Otherwise, I'm making it worse on myself. But if my phone if one of my iDevices does not have the ding ding turned off, and just one of them does a ding ding, I'm just like,
yeah. I was in a text thing yesterday, and I was trying to do something, and there was a flurry of text going back and forth, and I wasn't even
illegal.
I wasn't even involved in the conversation. It was happening in a group, and I knew it. I knew that it didn't involve me. I knew that I didn't need to pay attention to it. I knew that I'd given myself permission to not even be involved.
Yeah.
But every time it went, my thing went, every single time, I looked over at it and I couldn't stop myself. I was like, I knew every time that it was this same conversation happening with people that were talking amongst themselves that I didn't need to pay attention to. Yeah. And I was doing something else, but every single time, I would look over.
Happening?
Yeah.
Man,
like
something's
Pavlov,
happening.
dude, like Pavlov's dog over here. I was just like, oh, I gotta look at the phone.
Well, and it's not even like it's not even a sound that happens at a regular rhythm. So it's like, it's just this random noise that's happening.
Right.
And so you can't even filter it out mentally.
Yeah.
It's oof.
So this study goes on to make some suggestions as to what can be done. And
knock it off.
Knock it off would be great. Give people actual offices.
Just knock it off.
But they're saying there's other less expensive ways to deal with it as well. They're big fans in this World Economic Forum article of letting people work from home. Yes. Big fans, which I am as well.
Man, I think that's the biggest thing we've all learned this year.
Just let me stay home. Just let me work from home.
Everyone can just stay home.
Yeah. I like it in my home. It's my home.
It turns out most jobs can be done from anywhere.
Yeah. But short of that, they say if you need people to come in and you're not willing to actually give them offices, that companies would be well served to add in sound dampening. Like actual stuff that we might put into a studio, actual sound masking technologies, acoustic treatments, so that you dampen the noise. This murmur is you don't hear it as much, and I can imagine an entire an entire workspace that has a lot of the baffling that we put into our studios.
Yeah, absolutely. I like that.
Right? It seems like a pretty inexpensive half measure, but at least it's better than nothing.
No, I'm 100% into it. I'm 100% into it. I just feel like, look, I know our first story was all about how we need to be in touch more and collaborate more. But,
so true.
But there are certain environments and certain things. Like, I think what we're learning is we're learning a few things. I think those open floor plans genuinely came from an idea that they would be more collaborative and they would feel more connected. I genuinely believe that they did.
Yeah. I think people's heart was in the right place in a large sense.
But we're learning that even though we do need this social stuff and this collaboration, we also do need a a certain amount of structure, particularly when we are being given tasks to complete.
Right. Yes.
You know, this collaboration and this social interaction, the reason why it's so healthy is it pulls us out of our internal space and allows us to like exchange ideas and feelings and you know, just know that we're not alone.
Yeah.
But we are learning that there are some activities and things that we need to get done that require us to be alone. And I think we are one of the most important things we can do is stop applying what we think is an umbrella understanding of the human animal to every situation.
Yeah.
Oh, we need contact. We need social interaction. Great. Then let everybody take a longer lunch than they do. Encourage people to get up and take more breaks.
How about
put places in the area?
4-day work weeks, baby.
4-day work weeks, 6-hour work days. Put more places in the office that aren't just conference rooms, but are little enclaves where people can go if they need to collaborate. But don't expect them to be in that space all the time. That's all.
Yeah.
And don't ever make me go to work ever again.
Yeah, if I could just get money and not go to work, that'd be pretty rad.
Look, I'll work from here.
Yeah.
Love working from here. Please don't.
But also, like, maybe not even make me work.
Oh yeah.
How about that?
Yeah. Well, and if people want to help out with that, there's a great place they can go to do so.
What do you mean? Tell me more.
Well, that would be patreon.com/wehaveconcerns, Jeff.
Oh, a place where they can give just a little bit of money, but so many of them could do it that it would actually allow us to just do this and get money?
Yeah, Jeff. I think that's the perfect way to explain it.
If and they tell two friends, and they tell two friends, and they tell two friends, and then the teens find out?
And then the teens find out, and they come pennyboarding with their disposable income.
Woo!
And their love for independent art and creators. The teens love content, Jeff. Look, here's the thing. If a teen does happen to go to patreon.com/wehaveconcerns, they will find content.
They love content.
Plenty of content. For just $1 or more a month, you get access to our Discord server where everybody's hanging out, chatting, talking. We're doing a little fitness challenge right now. We're about halfway through. It's been real nice.
Yeah.
Everybody just, as we have been sitting for the last 18 months, we're kind of helping ourselves get up, get moving again. Running is for dicks, but we're doing it.
Geeks and sneaks.
I didn't want to use that in ours because that would be infringing on your trademark.
That's okay. I'm here.
It's true. Jeff's here. The geeks are in sneaks. But we're also talking about games. We're talking about episodes. We're sharing pet photos. We're doing the whole dang dang thing.
The whole ding dang 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 thing.
The whole ding dang thing. And for a little bit more a month, you get things like our cold opens, which are bonus episodes you get every week. You get bonus audio and video with our past guests. There's 6 years of past guest content and all kinds of other stuff. Check out patreon.com/wehaveconcerns to find out more.